We are deep into summer, so what better time to rank the Jaws franchise? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the movie ranker, and today I'm ranking all four Jaws movies from worst to best. You know, this is the ultimate shark franchise, pretty much the one that started it all, and there has been thousands of copies ever since. Even to this day, there's at least like 50 shark movies out there every year, and the quality's just not there though, guys. You might get one decent shark film a year if you're lucky. But yeah, this is pretty much the one that started it all. I'm a big shark fan when it comes to movies, so you know, I've watched so many of them, and it's so fun to go through these type of flicks. Just make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy content like this. And without wasting any more time, let's dive into this ranking. So easily coming into last place at number 4, I got Jaws: The Revenge. This is the film that broke the franchise. They haven't made a movie since, and this came out in 1987, so you can just imagine how bad this movie is. The title says it all. Jaws: The Revenge. This shark wants revenge on the Brody family. Like, kills one of the Brody brothers, then travels all the way to the Bahamas from New York to get the rest of the Brody family. It is just so stupid, so ridiculous. Ellen Brody, the mom, has some sort of telepathic psychic connection with the shark. She's even having flashbacks of events that she never even witnessed. She wasn't even around at the time. Just so stupid. The shark looks really dumb as well. The worst looking shark in the franchise. Looks so cheap. Like, there's literally one kill where a girl has to stick her leg in the shark's mouth for the shark to bite her leg off. It's just like, oh, so dumb. I think all the characters are either annoying or just forgettable. That little girl, I don't know, they let her rant on a little too long. And yeah, I don't enjoy any of these characters except for maybe Hoagie, played by the great Michael Caine. He's the only saving grace of this film. And that whole ending, how they defeat the shark, is just so damn dumb. The shark roars, by the way, like a lion. Can't get over this film. But yeah, they kill the shark by poking it with the end of their boat, and it somehow explodes like it's full of dynamite or something. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Every moment of this movie is dumb. And it's a Christmas movie on top of that, if you could believe it. Really doesn't add anything to the film, if you ask me. Some people might argue that the first kill in the movie, where they kill one of the Brody brothers, is pretty good. It could have been. It's definitely the best kill in the movie, but that's not saying much. I feel like there's too many quick cuts and you can't really see what's going on. Yeah, it's a terrible movie overall. And the only reason why I come back to this is because I'm a fan of shark movies, even the bad ones. But this one is kind of pushing the limit. Coming up next, at number 3, I got Jaws 3D. Now, I know this is another bad shark movie, but this is one that I enjoy. It's a guilty pleasure for me. I can't rate it real high or nothing, but I do have fun watching it. But the flaws do stick out like a sore thumb, the biggest being the 3D effects, of course. Seeing that shark go through the glass near the end is probably the worst shot of the entire franchise. But there's a lot of other sections of this film where they use real shark footage, which looks great. Yeah, there's a few other scenes where the shark looks like a big chunk of plastic, but for the most part, I think the shark looks pretty damn good in here. And I like the whole idea of us spending time in SeaWorld. I think that's a really cool location for a Jaws film. They kind of did it with Jurassic World. They kind of did the same kind of concept, maybe a bit better than this, of course, but I still really enjoy the setting of this film, and how for a big chunk of the film they think they have the big shark, but that's just really the baby, and then the mom comes in and does even more damage. I really enjoy the characters and the cast. We got Dennis Quaid in here, Bess Armstrong. It's just real fun to watch the Brody brothers interact with their girlfriends, and just seeing them at this facility is just really cool. And I just really get a kick out of Mr. Fitzroyce and his partner Jack. Them two, I really enjoy them. Mr. Fitzroyce is like this expert marine photographer and researcher. Same for his partner. And yeah, they just think they're so good in that, and the way his partner keeps calling him governor every 2 seconds, I just find it so funny, so hilarious. And the way he dies, with the grenades on him, and then at the end of the film, the shark opens his mouth and he's still in his mouth with those grenades. So funny, and that's how they defeat the shark. They end up pulling the pin on one of the grenades in his mouth, and yeah, I just always found that so funny. It's cheesy, it's dumb, but I can have a lot of fun with Jaws 3D. I just want to add that I really think that the whole sequence with the girls on the jet skis behind the boat while the sharks going after them is just brilliant. It's very exciting, very fun to watch, and it's definitely a highlight in this film. Up next at number 2, we got Jaws 2. Yes, we're going in backwards order here for the releases. But Jaws 2 is a fairly decent sequel. That can't hold a candle to the original, though. But I really like how this was almost like a slasher movie at times. When the sharks after the teens out in the water on their sailing boats, I think it's really exciting, really cool how he's trying to pick them off one by one. He even has like part of his face burnt, which even makes him more kind of like a slasher villain. I just gotta mention the whole scene how he gets his face burnt though has to be one of the funniest scenes in the entire franchise. The way this girl, she picks up this gas can that I think to throw at him, but she ends up pouring it all over her, the gas, and then shooting a flare which like lights her and the shark on fire and blows up the boat. It just happens so quick, and it's so like, what the hell did she just do? Like, I remember every time I watch this, I'm kind of like have to rewind this, make sure did she just pour the gas on her on purpose? But apparently it was supposed to be an accident, but it just doesn't look that way, and it comes off hilarious. Yeah, the shark's great, and probably my favorite look in the franchise, possibly. And the way they take him out too with the electrical cable, and he's like on fire and friggin' electricity coming out of him and everything. It looks gnarly. I really enjoyed that we got some of the returning cast in here. It's just unfortunate that they repeat a lot of the same beats as the original Jaws film. All the stuff with Martin Brody and him dealing with the mayor and the city council over the shark attacks, it just feels like we're just going through the same exact motions as before. The mayor never learned his lesson, and I always found it was just too much rinse and repeat. That's why I really enjoy the other aspects of this film, like with the kids out in the water being attacked. That stuff's really cool, but the central story with Martin Brody, it's a little weak here. Aside from maybe one girl character screaming her head off for most of the second half of this film, which is really annoying. Aside from that, this is a pretty decent sequel that I have fun revisiting. But easily coming in the first place is Jaws, the original. Obviously, it had to be this one. One of the best shark movies ever made, if not the best. Definitely the granddaddy of all shark flicks. The one movie that all other shark movies look at and study to see how they should do it. Steven Spielberg just was a master director here. This was his first big hit. I mean, it was the first summer blockbuster ever. Like, it really created that in 1975. So it is just a classic in every way. And it was just so effective that it even made people terrified of going into the water. Its musical score and its thrills just really work, especially since they take the time to develop these characters and you get to know them. We get Sheriff Brody in here, played by Roy Scheider. Such a great character. He's really easy to root for because he has a moral code, he's a family man, and he wants to protect his community. Unlike the mayor in this film, which is one of the biggest a-holes in all cinema, one of the worst villains ever. I just hate this guy, how he doesn't give a damn about the safety, about tourism, who's going to get killed. He just wants to make money. He sees dollar signs in summertime, and I get it. That's how this island makes their money, their revenue. But when you're sacrificing people over it, there's a problem. And eventually Brody teams up with Richard Dreyfuss' character, Hooper, which is a marine biologist, a really smart. He's like an expert in all these things. He's the brains of the operation. They also team up with Quint, played by Robert Shaw, who is an old seafarer and was in the military at one time. And his speeches in this film are just so iconic, so great. You know, when they're having a town meeting and he tells them that he can get the fish for them for a price, he's just so believable. He feels like a real person the way he delivers his lines in that. He just has that certain amount of charisma to him and just a natural presence. And of course, when they're on the boat and he gives his whole story on the USS Indianapolis, it really makes you feel for the character. You kind of start to see where he's coming from and how it's like his personal mission to kill this shark, kind of as revenge to what happened to his mates in the past. Yeah, and it really hits hard. And apparently, he had a really hard time with this because he was a really bad alcoholic. There was a lot of fights behind the scenes between the three actors, especially Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. Both of them didn't really get along, and Robert Shaw had such a bad alcoholic problem that when he did the scene about talking about USS Indianapolis, I guess he butchered it. It was so terrible because he was too drunk and out of her. Apparently, the next day he came in completely sober and nailed it first try, and that's what we see in the film. And yeah, I'm just glad they got things sorted out enough to give us a great flick, because apparently there was a lot of behind the scenes BS going on with this film. And these three characters coming together, all from different walks of life, they all have very different personalities and different, like, you know, views on the situation. It's just so interesting to see the three of them have to work together. And yeah, it just makes for a really balanced cast. So while these characters fleshed out the drama side of the story, made things more believable, the shark obviously created the tension along with the John Williams score. Like I mentioned earlier, that score is just so iconic, so simple, but completely effective as you can get. And yeah, it just creates a lot of tension, a lot of thrills. And by the final act, you're just hanging on to your seat while the shark's like taking out parts of the ship and starting to kill them off. It's just really fun to watch. A great adventure overall. And there's even one jump scare in this film that, when I remember when I was younger, used to get me. You just do not expect it when they're looking at the boat underwater and that corpse comes out of nowhere, the face. For 1975, this really gets you with this jump scare. And of course, the shark itself looks okay. They brilliantly don't show it a lot. I think that was partly due to it always screwing up when they were filming. They nicknamed it Bruce, and I guess he was always malfunctioning and whatnot, this fake shark they had. So that kind of worked out to their advantage, because you don't really see the shark till the later half of the film. So it just, you don't see this fake shark, so you believe it's real, and it just makes it more scary. And I just have to mention the whole opening act with the girl getting killed in the water and being dragged from side to side. One of my favorite moments in cinema history. It looks so good. You feel that this girl is getting killed by a shark. It's just filmed so brilliantly. I guess they tied a rope to her and was like dragging her around, which, you know, caused her to have injuries and stuff. Really dangerous back then when you're making movies. They weren't really thinking about safety half the time, but it worked out for the best. Visually, it looks great. This movie is like a genre bender, if you will. It has the thrills, it has the horror, it has the drama side of things, it's the adventure, and these genre blending films are usually always my favorite. I like that you get a little bit of everything. And what else is there to say about this flick? It's a classic for a reason. Probably the best shark movie we'll ever get. It's PG, because back then they didn't have PG-13, which is crazy seeing the amount of blood used in this film. Nowadays it would definitely have been PG-13 or even rated R, probably, with all the use of the red blood, which just shows how much times have changed and people are more offended nowadays and trying to cancel things and say kids can't watch that. It's like, come on. We all grew up fine, you know. But yeah, this is basically a masterpiece. I can't really give any faults to this flick. It's just so good. And it easily comes in the first place in my ranking. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 4 Jaws flicks. I think it's a pretty basic ranking. I think most people go 4, 3, 2, 1 from worst to best. Let me know if you do it differently. Some people have Jaws 3 at last place and have Jaws 4 in third. Not me, though. Definitely not. But I respect your opinion. You can follow me on Letterboxd, which you just seen on the screen here with my ranking, if you're interested. And like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.